Good morning, my friend Arturo Lazzarini and me, Alejandro Hernandez. We are going to talk about the Aztecs and the cult of death. The Mexican people have two obsessions: the taste for death and the love of flowers. Before we spoke Castellan, there was a day of the month dedicated of death. There was a strange war which they called Florida, and in blood the altars reaped good luck. For the ancient Mexicans, the opposition between death and life was not as absolute for us. Life was prolonged in death. And the other way around, this statement by Octavio Paz in his well-known essay on Mexican, The Labyrinth of Solitude, finds full confirmation in the writing and archaeological testimonies that tell us how the Nahuatl people conceived death. The Aztecs and the cult of the sacrifice. The most surprising of the facts of this cult is the human sacrifice that so much horror caused in conquerors and chroniclers, and they continue to contradict our sensibility. These bloody rites, however, have not been satisfactorily interpreted by all historians. It is only through investigation that is possible to recognize in the essential myths of the Aztec people the root and justification of human sacrifice. We will refer to these myths in more detail later. For the moment, it suffices to enunciate its fundamental aspects. The divinity has sacrificed himself so that there is life in the world. It is up to men to correspond the divine sacrifice of offering them the most precious of themselves, life, their own blood, and thus becoming collaborators with the divinity, so that life continues on earth. The favorite of the sun. At any rate, official doctrine was well defined and conclusive. Man's ultimate aspiration as to his final destiny was to be admitted to the house of the sun. This privilege was reserved for warriors killed in battle or stone sacrifice. Tonatiuh, the sun god, has with Huitzilopochtli, the god proper of the Aztec tribe, one of these main incarnations. And Huitzilopochtli was the warrior god par excellence. An Aztec myth relates the Coatlicue, the gold goddess of the air, after having begot the moon and the stars, and had life retraced in christening of the temple. Women killed. In the first birth, these women were given the same right as warriors who perished in battle. If they accompanied the solar divinity to the middle of the sky, they were leaving the sun in the middle of the day, descending to the west, carrying it on platform made of quetzal or rich powder, which are called quetzali apanecavoy. They went before him with voice of joy and fighting, making him fast. They left him where the sun sets. A curious fact is that the spirit, the great stream in which women were killing in children, they were I even divined calling the Cihuateteo, goddess woman. Their presence on earth were they disconnected on the certain dates indicated by the ritual calendar was considered rather dismal, especially in women and children. That same figure which they were represented was frightening with a flashing face and claps. They were supposed to scream and shout in the air, and that they used to scare at the crossroads of the roads.
The chosen ones of Tlaloc. Tlaloc is about its other attributes, the god of the rain, one of the oldest dates of Mesoamerica given the importance of agriculture. In the economy of the Aztecs, it should come as one surprise that they have adopted Tlaloc as one of their principal gods. The two towers and towers that crown the Toacali, or a major temple of Tenochtitlan, were designed precisely to Tlaloc and Iuxtlacoli. The Aztecs also adopted, taking them from the old Toltecs, the myths that refer to Tlaloc and which then the convict that there was a paradise of Tlaloc the Tlalocan, where the dead who had perished, thrown, or struck by lying, or victims of leprosy, of epronic, or mangy, of the cause of any disease of which they were considered a relationship. Those who went to Mictlan, those who had not been chosen neither by the sun nor by Tlaloc when dying descent to the Michigan understand a series of deaths before reaching the definitive rest of the disappearance. These deaths were 9, and in one sense they considered to say many strata of the underworld, each deeper than the previous one. The belief in these traits was closer related to certain details of funeral rites. For example, the habit of burying a dog tower, which the dead man depended on the conviction that he had to govern the flow of an underground river, and only the dog could help him in that trance. Regarding the location of Mictlan, where is a disagreement between the various traditions, as it is placed deeper in the earth. It's also said to be of the north. This later tradition seems more congruent with the location of the other places where the dead can attend. The east and west direction will correspond to the solar paradise, south the Tlalocan, north to Mictlan. Funeral rites. The dead for the Mictlan were using strong squats, wrapping them well with blankets and papers and begging them before burying the mortuary bounty at people of hate. If it was a nobleman, was put in the mouth of the deceased that the small stone symbolized her heart and was placed under mound so that she could leave it as a garment in the servant region of the underworlds where it was took that were beads that devoured human hearts. They also placed an hood of wire among the shorts which has to serve the way his garments and trappings were burned so that which that fire he would overcome the cold he had to face in one of the regions beyond where the wind was so violent that he could like a razor. The abundance of paper used in the journey will serve to overcome another of the tests. The passage between two mountains that joined to prevent traffic. Some of the balloons were also given to the deceased to be given to Mitlacachuli. Of the Mitlacachuli were a lady of the dead. When they returned to the last stage of his accident, it was the duty of the others to count funeral conference from ritual shrine to the burning of the corpse and burial the ashes. Everything was carried on the midst of Michigan 4 months and returned to desert so that he would succeed in the steps struck there. Complexity of the Aztec pantheon. At the moment when the concept surprised, then Aztecs practiced the most vigorous politics, not quenching the existence of courage, the tenant simplicity of Aztec pantheon. We guard several defenses and different means of the same good. It's very important to bear in mind that the Aztec trip was the last settled in around the valley of Mexico, and they reached those places actively a solid cultural past that and immediately took over the spiritual framework implied there by the peoples who had flourished before, especially to Toulouse. That possession has not a true assimilation and community of the cultural atmosphere upon, but an appropriation that gave a manifest fruit a development, the use of aspects that best suits its needs, ambition of power, and for the same reason, the competition of many best suits in needs and ambition of power. Other aspects drunk a process of the nationalization. The most notorious example is about the figure of Quetzalcoatl, the supreme mythical hero of Mesoamerica, so assimilated by the Aztecs that the priests of Budi region gave them the little of Quetzalcoatl. However, the doctrine of the good hero has not affected the Aztecs of the Quetzalcoatl had prevented a doctrine for a personal detachment and preference as a means transit. The Aztecs realized the extension to the spiritual which reason considered death.